Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Nathan Blanco, and I'll be your host for tonight's Onstage Alaska virtual event presented in partnership with Holland America Line. We are so excited you could join us. For more than 75 years, Holland America Line has been sharing the wonders of Alaska with travelers like you. And tonight, you'll get an insider's look at why their Alaska experiences are so unforgettable. You'll hear stories, tips, and insights that bring the great land to life, from glaciers and wildlife to rich history and culture. At the end of the presentation, we'll open things up for a live question and answer session. So if anything sparks your curiosity, be sure to jot it down and ask away. This is your chance to get answers directly from the experts. I'm also excited to share that any attendee who books a Holland America Line cruise to Alaska or cruise tour will receive an exclusive direct travel bonus offer as a thank you for joining us tonight, which we will reveal at the end of the presentation. So, whether you've been dreaming of Alaska for years or this is your very first introduction, you're in the right place. So, sit back, relax, and let our panelists show you why Alaska with Holland America Line is a journey unlike any other. And with that, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Nathan. Hello, everybody. My name is George, and thank you for being here today. And welcome to Holland America Line's On Stage Alaska. Holland America have a very special relationship with direct travel, so you're in excellent hands when you book with your direct travel advisors. And thank you for hosting us.
And my name is Jamie, and we are your Alaska experts. When people think of Alaska, they envision majestic glaciers, abundant wildlife, and untouched wilderness. Well, with Holland America, we take these iconic elements and we bring them to the forefront of your journey in a way that no other cruise line can match.
And with almost 80 years experience with Alaska, it's our deep knowledge and long-standing friendships allows us to offer experiences that are both authentic and exclusive.
And I said we are your Alaskan experts, but y'all may have been able to notice by our accents that we're not from the area. We're from Texas.
Well, she's from Texas. I'm from Australia. We're a married couple who live, breathe all things travel. Together, we've visited over 70 countries. And it's our passion to keep traveling to experience new cultures, countries, and experiences. And in the summertime, we love to work with Holland America as tour directors, leading groups of people like yourselves on our land portion of our cruise tours, which means we have first-hand knowledge of all the locations we're about to speak upon.
We both fell in love with Alaska pretty quick. I first fell in love with Alaska on my commercial airline flight in from the lower 48 states. I was amazed that without even being on the ground, I was able to see so much. As we were approaching Anchorage, we flew over the Prince William Sound, the Turnagain Arm, and the Chugach Mountains. I was able to take these pictures, counting at least 10 massive glaciers at 11 p.m., just as the sky was finally turning to dusk.
And I just love how small all the landscapes can make you feel. I was lucky enough to do a scenic flight around Mount Denali on a bluebird day. Flying so close to the peak, yet knowing you're above 20,000 feet, it really makes you feel just like a tiny ant. So why travel with Holland America? Well, for one, our ships are built for cruising and not crowds. We can take your journey to new heights with our perfectly sized ships, our unrivaled culinary experiences, and the best entertainment at sea.
And Savor the Journey is more than a tagline for us. It is a 150-year promise to create memories that are too good to hurry through. With our genuine tradition of hospitality, destination dining, connection to the world and each other, we believe the journey is just as important as the destination.
So why travel to Alaska with Holland America? It's because we're number one in Alaska's wildlife and wilderness tours, with over 175 animal sanctuary and sightseeing excursion opportunities. We provide a glacier guarantee, and we offer more time on land with up to 3 nights in the Denali region, or travel to Canada's Yukon with 2 nights in Dawson City. Our We Love Alaska experiences are our immersive onboard programming for you to taste, discover, and experience the local destinations you're in. And we were the first cruise line to serve triple certified, sustainably sourced Alaskan seafood on all our ships sailing to Alaska.
All right, it looks like we have our first question. No, but the most common questions we get are, how big is Alaska? When is the best time to visit? And what do I wear? Looks like we've got a question for you.
Alaska.
Hopefully they've been to Alaska with Holland America. It's only one way to do it.
Should we give a call out to our mariners?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
At the end of the show, I'd love to see how many of you have cruised with Holland America before. We love hearing from our mariners and thanking them for their loyalty. All right, don't forget to vote. Make sure you cast those votes. We got a few more seconds left.
Oh, perfect. Well, here we go.
All right, we do have a few locals in the session. 38% of you have been to Alaska before. Wonderful. And you're back for more. It's very addicting.
New first comers, you're going to have an amazing experience. So let's move on to our questions.
Absolutely. And we'll be happy to, again, to answer all of your other questions for you, like Nathan said. And if you haven't already, start taking notes during our presentation. That way you can create the Alaskan bucket list of your dreams with anything that stands out to you during our presentation. You're already narrowing it down so that when you talk with your travel professional at the end, you already know exactly what you want to book.
So let's begin with a look at our destination. As you can see, Alaska is big. In fact, it is larger than California, Texas, and Montana combined. And with this vastness and so much diversity, you'll want to allow yourself time to see it. So the best time to visit is when you have the most time.
Spring in Alaska is May to early June. It's ideal for those wanting to witness the thawing landscapes, blooming wildflowers, and nature returning back to the region, with the added benefit of less crowds. Summer in Alaska is June to August, and you'll have the warmest months. Everything is in full swing and everything's in full bloom. We also have what's known as the midnight sun in Alaska, where you'll experience on average about 20 hours of daylight per day. In fact, if you come in summer, you may not even see a single star. Fall in Alaska is August to late September, good for seeing fall foliage, the salmon running, and again, fewer crowds. Those of you wanting to see the northern lights, also known as the aurora borealis, your best chances will be in September.
We want you to be comfortable and prepared because the weather can change multiple times per day. So the secret isn't those heavy mink coats. No, it is to dress in layers. So we'd like you to dress like an onion. By that, I mean, bring your summer layers, bring a warm layer, a waterproof layer, bring some shorts. You'll probably need some shorts. Bring comfortable shoes, a reusable water bottle, and don't forget your binoculars.
Here are Alaska's big 5 land animals that you could see on your cruise or cruise tour. And did you know that the original reason Denali National Park was created was to protect the Dall sheep?
And here are the big 5 marine animals which you could see. They are the orca, the Steller sea lion, the sea otter, the grey whale, and the humpback whale. We were fortunate enough to see 4 out of 5 of these marine animals on one sightseeing excursion in the Kenai Fjords National Park, which departs from Seward.
With Holland America, we are the only cruise line to offer at least one UNESCO World Heritage listed site on every itinerary. You could see Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve, Wrangell St. Elias National Park if visiting Hubbard Glacier, or Dawson City, Yukon, which is located in Canada, all depending on the itinerary that you choose.
And Alaska is home to 7 of the 10 largest national parks in the United States. And depending on the itinerary which you choose, you could visit up to 4 of these remarkable parks. They are Glacier Bay, Wrangell St. Elias, the Kenai Fjords, and Denali National Park and Reserve.
With Holland America, you can experience Alaska in 2 ways: by cruising only or on a cruise tour. With our cruise only option, we offer 7 to 28-day itineraries with convenient weekend and round trip departures from Seattle and Vancouver.
And our cruise tours are a combination vacation from 9 to 17-day itineraries with an ocean cruise paired with a land tour. And every cruise tour includes a guided visit into Denali National Park.
Today, we're going to discuss our Alaska cruises, Alaska and Denali cruise tours, and Alaska, Denali, and Yukon cruise tours.
So let's begin with our Alaska cruises. For the best introduction to Alaska's gorgeous glaciers, stunning, charming seaside towns, and abundant marine life, nothing beats a Holland America Line cruise. And our 7-day cruises conveniently offer weekend departure and with a range of itineraries to suit everybody's interest and time frames. Our 7-day Alaska Explorer is round trip from Seattle for an easy domestic flight. Our 7-day Alaska Inside Passage is round trip from Vancouver. And our 7-day Glacier Discovery is one way in either direction from Vancouver to the port of Whittier, which is near Anchorage. I'd like to point out our newest award is from Forbes, the 2025 Best Cruise in Alaska, and they recommend the Glacier Discovery itinerary.
And if you're thinking 7 days of cruising is not enough, don't worry, we've got longer voyages for those who want to see Alaska more in depth. 14, 18, and 28-day cruises taking you to other ports like Valdez, Kodiak, and Homer. And as you can see from all of our cruise itineraries, we don't have very much time in the open ocean. With our perfectly sized ships that can hold about, on average, 2,000 guests, we are able to spend more time near land, offering more scenic cruising and more views while having lunch on the Lido deck or from your very own personal veranda.
Now we know seeing a glacier is at the top of everyone's Alaska bucket list. And we're so confident that you'll see a glacier with Holland America that we give every guest a glacier guarantee. And we can do this because we've already built in at least 1 day of glacier cruising on all our itineraries.
And if you're like George on our Alaska cruise, he decided to sleep in on Glacier Day, but don't worry, he was still able to see the views from the room on the TV with the bow camera. So that was very convenient. Okay, now for our exclusive legendary 28-day voyage. This is all centered on one rare experience: crossing into the Arctic Circle the night of the summer solstice. The summer solstice is the longest day of sunlight in the year, and the Arctic Circle is the lowest latitude line where the sun never goes below the horizon. This is a once-a-year departure going from Seattle round trip through the Inside Passage into less frequented ports like Dutch Harbor and Nome. It really is a voyage not to be missed.
So come indulge on our award-winning onboard experiences. From family board games to live music to spa treatments, there is something on board for everybody to enjoy.
And because we believe the journey is just as important as the destination, we have received a range of awards throughout the cruise industry. For example, this year, a few of the awards we won were Best Cruise Ship for Dining, Best Cruise Line for Families, and Best Overall Shore Excursions, plus many others throughout the year.
Alaska is famously rugged and rough, but a Holland America stateroom is anything but. Our spacious, elegantly appointed staterooms are more than just a place to rest. They're your home away from home. And we have a variety of staterooms which you can choose from, which you can discuss with your travel advisor.
Discover Alaska is our educational programming connecting you to your surroundings. You can learn from national park rangers on board or hear captivating stories from native tribespeople also visiting on board. Our expert cruise staff provide authentic up-close experiences from the World Stage Room, guided wildlife spotting on deck, and many other programs.
And our Taste Alaska is all about bringing the local flavors on board. With our sustainably sourced Alaskan seafood, you'll have more seafood options than you could choose from. The last time we were on a ship, I ate so much salmon, Jamie thought I was getting ready for hibernation. And the Savor My Catch program allows you to reel in your own salmon or halibut while on a shore excursion. And then afterwards, our chefs will prepare and serve you your catch on board. And then imagine toasting to a successful day fishing on a signature cocktail served with real glacier ice. Cheers.
Experience Alaska. We provide over 175 incredible shore excursion opportunities to see glaciers, wilderness, and wildlife. Whether you're venturing out on foot, by bike, or kayak, these experiences provide unique ways to see Alaska's rugged landscape up close.
And one of the highlights with the Alaska cruise is Glacier Day. You can spend up to 8 hours sailing up close to some of Alaska's most stunning glaciers, all while savoring on a warm bowl of Dutch pea soup. Now, take it from me, you don't want to sleep in on this day. There is a buzz on board all day, and the captain takes a unique step, open up the bow for viewing. Now, this is quite special because, as you can see, the bow is so much lower and closer to the water when maybe a cute sea otter swims on by or a harbor seal floats past on an iceberg. You're just so much lower and closer to enjoy that experience. And each of our glacier cruising destinations offers something unique. Imagine cruising past massive glaciers in Glacier Bay or College Fjord. Or you could visit the largest tidal water glacier in North America, which is Hubbard Glacier, if cruising through Wrangell St. Elias Parker Reserve. Or on an excursion, you could visit Mendenhall Glacier or Tracy Arm Inlet. And Holland America have been cruising the pristine glacial waters of Glacier Bay since before it was a national park, which has resulted in us being given more permits to enter than any other cruise line. This is particularly important because only 2 ships may enter Glacier Bay per day for this 8-hour experience of a lifetime. Being granted more permits to enter means we can include a visit to this iconic park on more departures, giving our guests more itineraries and dates that include a visit to Glacier Bay. And before we move on, I have another question for everybody. Oh, cool.
All right. So those of you who have been to Alaska before, you've got an upper hand. What do we think the capital city of Alaska is, folks?
I know I got this wrong before I moved to Alaska.
Is everyone able to show on a map where these cities are? We won't ask you that question. All right, don't forget to cast your votes.
Let's see how. Oh, here we are.
All right, wonderful.
Smart group of people out there.
Well, that actually leads us to our next slide. Juneau is the capital of Alaska. We're now going to mention a few of our more common ports that you could visit on your cruise or cruise tour. Did you know that Juneau is an island not even connected to the rest of the state by road? This capital city can only be visited by ship or by plane. And my favorite things to see while in Juneau are all of the bald eagles flying around town, going on a whale watching excursion, or visiting the Mendenhall Glacier and Nugget Falls.
And Ketchikan. Ketchikan was built on a history of timber, tourism, and salmon fishing. My personal favorite thing to do while in Ketchikan is any excursion that takes you out to Herring Cove, or you can just walk the famous Creek Street with its salmon ladder, or check out the very interesting totem pole spread out around the town, where you can just hoot and holler along at a lumberjack show.
Skagway. You can visit Skagway as a port of call on your cruise for the day, or if you're on a cruise tour, you could be traveling through Skagway to or from the Yukon, or even stay a few nights at our very own Holland America Skagway Inn. Skagway is known as the gateway to the Klondike, and great things to do in Skagway are tour the famed Red Onion Saloon, sip on a locally brewed spruce tip ale, or go visit the neighboring town of Haines.
Sitka. Sitka was the Russian capital when Alaska was a Russian territory, and you can still feel that influence around the town today. The best things to see in Sitka are the otters, raptors, and bears.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and talk about our cruise tours. This is where we take our guests off the ship and venture further into the interior of Alaska and the Yukon. You can choose to either cruise first or start your adventure on land first. But either way, don't worry, we'll still be handling all of the logistics for you along the way. We even have a luggage program where we take your checked bags from each hotel room to the next. That way you're not having to drag your luggage from each destination to the next. Whether it's our own transportation or our own hotels, you can trust we've got you covered, leaving you more time to savor the moment.
So when planning your next family vacation, consider a Holland America cruise tour. With pre-planned convenience and stress-free travel, allows you more time to create treasured memories together. And each of our cruise tours can be fully accessible if noted in the booking in advance, which you can do with your travel advisor. Now we're going to talk about our Alaska and Denali cruise tours. For convenience, we'll refer to these as our Denali cruise tours. A Denali cruise tour takes things one step further, from the sparkling waters of Alaska's coastline into Denali National Park.
We have 3 categories of Denali cruise tours, and within each of these categories, we have many itineraries to choose from. In Signature Denali and the Ultimate Denali. The Classic and Signature Denali are a 7-day cruise with up to 3 nights stay in the Denali region, and our Ultimate Denali cruise tours are 7-day cruise and 7 nights on land with 2 nights in the Denali region. The Ultimate Denali cruise tour itineraries are the only one to offer visits to either Homer, Seward, or Alaska. And new for 2026, all of our Ultimate cruise tours will now include a visit to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, and they will now include a tour director for added convenience. This is a great option for those who don't want to choose between Denali's wilderness and Alaska's coastal charm.
And if you book with Holland America, you'll have more time on land than any other cruise line, with up to 3 nights in the Denali region. More time on land means more time for excursions, more opportunity for wildlife sightings, or more time to go further to new destinations. And you'll have direct access to the Denali region via our McKinley Explorer rail cars. And Denali National Park is located a few hundred miles from the coast, located in the interior of Alaska. The park spans over 6 million acres and is home to North America's tallest peak, Mount Denali, which is also known as Mount McKinley, but as the Athabascans refer to it, the Great One. It's here you will have your best opportunity to see wildlife in their natural habitat. And here is where you'll also find our Holland America Denali Lodge, which is going to be your base camp for all your Denali adventures, located just 1 mile from the park's entrance.
And to get you there on every tour that we offer, we provide a scenic journey to or from Denali on our very own Holland America McKinley Explorer train. The McKinley Explorer is a double-decker glass-domed rail car with a dining room on the bottom, and up top at your seats, you'll have an expert rail guide giving you narration the whole day while sipping on a cocktail and enjoying the panoramic views.
My favorite is the Moose Caboose cocktail.
And my favorite thing about train day is going out onto the open air platforms, letting the wind blow through my hair, and taking photos.
And here we have the Holland America Denali Lodge. It's nestled on a 60-acre campus, and it's a perfect blend of comfort meets adventure. Here, is a picture of our main lodge, where you'll find our friendly guest service team, and it'll also be the pick-up and drop-off location for all your Denali land excursions. We offer a complimentary shuttle to the Denali Visitor Centre, and you'll find numerous other features spread out around the property, including dining and entertainment venues.
Here is Denali Square, or as I like to call it, the entertainment hub. Here you'll find shops, indoor and outdoor dining, live music, fireplaces, and much more. It's the perfect gathering place for socializing and activities.
And just how we bring the local flavors to you on board our ships, we do the same at our lodges. And you have a variety of restaurants you can choose from Carson's Public House to Canyon Ridge Grill, a few coffee shops, or you can enjoy the music of Denali dinner theatre show at the Gold Nugget Saloon.
And meals are not included on land, but we do offer great optional meal plans. You have the breakfast meal plan, Denali region meal plan, and the full cruise tour meal plan. These are needing to be booked in advance. So if you're interested in taking the guesswork out of mealtime, please make sure you speak with your travel advisor before heading over to Alaska.
And at the Holland America Denali Lodge is the only location on land where you can upgrade your accommodations to a Denali suite with upgraded features and a modern decor and an outdoor area like a terrace or a balcony. Now, you do not need to have an upgraded stateroom to enhance your stay here at the lodge, but it does need to be booked in advance. So again, you can discuss this with your travel advisor.
And the Holland America Denali Lodge is already the best place to stay in the Denali Canyon. Yet we are still committed to a multi-year expansion to ensure we remain the best place to stay as demand grows. This year, we added an accessible interpretive riverwalk. We updated all of our public spaces, and we overhauled all of our menus.
Every cruise tour includes a guided visit into Denali National Park. Now, did you know Denali National Park is larger than the state of Rhode Island, but with only one road? And majority of that road is closed off to the public. But with our included guided tour, you'll explore deeper into the park, providing opportunities to see wildlife, wilderness, or views of Mount Denali. For guests staying 2 to 3 nights, they will enjoy the Tundra Wilderness Tour. And for guests staying 1 night, they will enjoy the Natural History Tour.
And with Holland America, we provide over 175 incredible animal sanctuary and sightseeing excursion opportunities, with the Denali region having the most land excursions to choose from. So you'll be happy to have more time here. Plus, with summer's endless daylight, you'll have more time to do these excursions. I was able to go whitewater rafting at 10 p.m. with full daylight, and we have guests who book rounds of golf starting at 10 p.m. So my favorite excursion to recommend in the Denali region is anything with flight seeing, whether it's helicopter or small plane. We even have flight seeing excursions that leave from Denali that can take you into the Arctic Circle. So if you're interested in any of these land excursions, you can either book them ahead of time with your travel advisor, or you can do so in person at each location.
So now we're going to talk about our Alaska, Denali, and Yukon cruise tours. But for convenience, we're going to refer to these as our Yukon cruise tours. From Alaska's stunning seaside to the wonders of Denali, venture further off the beaten path into Canada's Yukon, where Klondike Gold Rush history meets wild natural beauty. Our Yukon cruise tours include everything we've just spoken about with our Denali cruise tours, but they include more. The Yukon Cruise Tour offers a 3, 4, or 7 night cruise paired with a land tour, which goes into Canada's Yukon territory. These 3 and 4 night cruises are perfect for first time cruisers or for someone who's done an Alaska cruise before and wish to explore more of the Yukon and the interior of Alaska. Every Yukon cruise tour includes a chartered flight between Dawson City and Fairbanks. And every Yukon cruise tour includes the expert touch of a tour director. If you're looking for the best of sea and land in one comprehensive journey, these could be the cruise tours for you.
All of our Yukon cruise tours are curated with the History Channel, taking you to the UNESCO World Heritage listed site, Dawson City, Yukon, located in Canada. And due to guest feedback wanting more time in Dawson City, now for all tours 2026 and onwards, you'll be spending 2 nights in Dawson City.
Now, who out there likes gold? I know you all do. And Dawson City was the epicenter of the 1898 Klondike Gold Rush, where 100,000 stampeders left Skagway in pursuit of Dawson City with the dreams of striking it rich. Only 30,000 determined stampeders arrived in the Klondike, but only a handful actually struck it rich. But people still travel to Dawson City today to chase that gold fever feeling of the past.
Dawson City is a living museum with its unpaved streets, wooden boardwalks, and false front buildings. It is a town frozen in time. You may have heard of this place by its famed authors like Jack London or Robert Service, and fans of the TV show The Gold Rush. You may even see familiar faces around town, as gold mining is still one of the top industries today. And in its heyday, Dawson City was known as the Paris of the North for its lively social scene. Well, today you can still clap along to a rowdy can-can show at Diamond Tooth Gertie's, which is Canada's oldest operating casino.
And just like in the Denali region, Holland America have our own hotel in the Yukon. This is the Gertie's Wing at the Holland America Dawson Inn. Holland America are the only cruise line that can take escorted tours from our own cruise ships to our own hotel in the Yukon. Here at the Holland American Dawson Inn, you'll enjoy refurbished historical buildings, which are cozy and they reflect the charm of the town.
And just like in Denali, where we want you to understand the historical importance of the area that you're in, we are including the Klondike Gold Tour excursion on all of our Yukon cruise tours. You'll enter the largest wooden hull dredge on a guided tour, and then visit where the whole gold rush started at Bonanza Creek. This immersive experience takes you through 3 generations of gold mining, from panning all the way to modern day mining. And for those of you wanting to try your luck at panning for gold yourself, you can, just on a different excursion while in town. If you look close enough, there's actually some gold in my pan.
Some say the Yukon is equal to Alaska's beauty, but far less populated. And they'd be right. The Yukon is larger than the state of California, but with only 0.1% of California's population. Fun fact, there are more moose in the Yukon than there are people.
Connecting Alaska to the Yukon is Skagway's White Pass Yukon Railroad. It is more than a scenic journey. It is a trip through time. Different from the Denali McKinley Explorer train, this one is an authentic gold rush style train. You'll be on it around 2.5 to 3 hours, and you can go through the White Pass and Tormented Valley.
The White Pass Yukon Rail has been curated with the History Channel and is the #1 guest rated activity to do while in Skagway. Now, this is an optional shore excursion which you can do while in Skagway, but it is already included on some Yukon cruise tour itineraries.
So to recap the highlights of your Yukon experience, you will be spending more time in Dawson City than with any other cruise line. And on some itineraries, we already have that White Pass Yukon Railroad included, And all Yukon itineraries have the McKinley Explorer and Denali included. Plus, all Yukon cruise tours have the personalized touch of a tour director.
So you've heard us mention tour directors a few times now, but what is a tour director and why would you need one? If you travel with a tour director, you'll be part of an escorted group. We are with you every step of the way on land. We're your traveling concierge, handling all the logistics to create a carefree and fun vacation. Now you might be feeling overwhelmed with everything we've just shared with you, traveling vast distances to remote locations, and you could be feeling worried, thinking, how am I going to do this? Well, if you're with an escorted group, you're going to have the tour director traveling with you to streamline the experience. But don't worry, for all our unescorted guests, we have a great guest service team at each location who will take fantastic care of you. Having a tour director is just like having the cherry on top.
All right, everyone, I want you to memorize this slide. No, that's what your travel advisors are for. They can memorize this slide. But I do like to touch on this slide at the very end because it's a nice recap of all of our cruise tour options. We have 3 Denali cruise tour categories that you can see vertically. And then we also have that Yukon cruise tour category. And within each of those categories, you can see all of the itineraries to choose from on that first row. The differences between each itineraries are going to be which cruise is included, how many nights you'll spend in Denali National Park, and how many days you'll spend on land. And just to recap, that ultimate Denali cruise tour will be your Denali cruise tour that offers a tour director. And of course, your Yukon cruise tours also have that tour director for you. And I'd just like to mention a common misconception some folks have is that they're going to need more time on vacation to go into the Yukon. But we have already curated our itineraries for the Yukon to also have the same amount of time as some of our Denali cruise tours. So make sure you take that Alaska bucket list that you've been creating throughout our presentation to your travel advisor. That way they can make sure that you're on the itinerary of your dreams. All right, well, that is the end of our presentation. So before we move on to the sales promotions, which is why we all know you're here, I just wanted to speak on behalf of George and I. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. And on behalf of Holland America, we hope that you are as excited as we are for everything that is in store for you in Alaska and the Yukon. And we can't wait to welcome you on board soon. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, George, want to start the sales promotions?
Absolutely. If you choose to cruise with Holland America, we have packaged together our 4 most popular items while on board. That is the signature drinks package, the surf Wi-Fi, credit for a shore excursion, and a specialty dining night. And we like to call this package the Have It All package. The surf Wi-Fi will give you access to send photos, emails, light browsing, things of that. And the signature drinks package will give you alcoholic beverages up to $11. Plus, it's also all your sodas, specialty coffees, and fruit smoothies. So it's a great value in that. But if you book a cruise with the Have It All package before October 29th, you'll get our best deal ever promotion, which is the early booking bonus Have It All, which will give you a free upgrade to the elite beverage package, free premium Wi-Fi, and free prepaid crew appreciation while on board. That premium Wi-Fi will allow you to stream from your device, and that elite beverage package is going to include all those sodas, specialty coffees, fruit smoothies. But for your alcoholic beverages, your budget will go up to anything from $15. So, and with the prepaid crew appreciation, there's some great value there. So to save for your cruise, and really good value on that one. And for the stackable onto the last Have It All package for any guest booking a Yukon cruise tour with the early booking bonus Have It All package, you'll qualify to save $200 on your dining plans and more. And for all our guests interested in our D3 and D4 Ultimate Denali Cruise Tours, if you book one before October 31st, you'll receive a complimentary glacier and wildlife cruise excursion. and for being here today with Onstage Alaska in partnership with Direct Travel. You could receive up to $350 in credit per stateroom. Plus, you can secure your cruise with a reduced deposit of $25 per person. Now, this is valid through to October 28th. So make sure you speak with your friends and families, get them all together, and get on board or get into your direct travel advisor to secure your cruise for this amazing promotions. I'd like now to call our Holland America sales manager, Tom, to come share some more promotions we have, which will be stackable again.
Thank
Tom,
you,
are you with
George.
us?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Jamie. That was amazing. I am ready to go to Alaska. I don't know about you. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll just take a couple of extra moments of your time to mention a couple of extra layers. Typically, those promotions that George mentioned, that would be all the promotions available. But today we have some extra exclusives just for booking with Direct Travel through October 28th. So this not only applies when you're booking at your next Alaska cruise or cruise tours in 2026, but also some other destinations like Canada, New England in 2026, or also if you're thinking of a winter spring getaway this coming winter and spring. And that is a lunch for two on board at our Mariner's favorite restaurant, the Pinnacle Grill. This is our Pacific Northwest steak and seafood chop house, an additional $100 per person on board credit. And in addition to these benefits, you will always receive, when you book with Direct Travel, something called their Virtuoso onboard credit. Because they're a Virtuoso affiliate, as a premium travel agency with premium travel advisors, you will receive that additional $100 onboard credit per stateroom when you are booking any type of veranda or above, a veranda stateroom or a suite on a sailing that is 7 days or longer, which is pretty much every Holland America sailing. We have sailings all the way from 7 days up to 60 days and beyond. So it applies to all those sailings, not our grand voyages, but almost everything else. So about 95% of all those Holland America sailings. And there's a little bonus there if you're booking Alaska with a complimentary dinner for two at the Music of Denali Dinner Theatre, which is an awesome night out, along with some other Denali dollars if you're upgrading to one of those awesome Denali suites that George told you about. So I think that's it from us, from your Onstage Alaska presenters, George and Jamie and myself. We're going to hand back to Nathan here. I think he's waiting in the wings.
Yes, thank you. Great presentation, guys. Really awesome stuff. And like you said, Tom, I am so ready to go to Alaska. Now, before the end of the presentation, the question and answer segment, want to ask one more poll question, and we'll get that fired up for you right now, is which of the big five animals do you want to see? So we'll give 45 seconds there, and we'll see how this one plays out. I would love to see a bear. I don't know about anyone else. Yeah. Well, it's a split decision so far. A lot of bears, caribou, moose.
I want to see the fat bears. Have y'all seen the fat bear polls where they did the voting for the fat bear recently?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
I was going to say,
you
I
have to
want to
look
see
it up.
that bear you had in your
Yes.
presentation, the big guy.
Yes.
Give him a hug.
At the end of the season, before they go into hibernation, in Katmai, there's a voting online poll that they do for the fattest bear.
That's awesome. So it looks like moose took the lead. 33% of our respondents say moose, 29% for bear, 21% for caribou, and 8% apiece for doll, sheep, and wolf. So yeah, kind of split decision there. A lot of moose and a lot of bear, though. So Alaska is the place to go see all of that. It's time now to open things up for our question and answers segment. So if you do have questions, please put them in the chat. We'll read them. We'll give it to our experts here in a moment. Our first question comes, and it's, how far is Denali Tour Road open currently, and is there a date the road will reopen in entirety?
Yeah, we get this one a lot. The road is, the date that was meant to be completed was next year, but that has been pushed back to at least 2027, I believe. So what happened was a landslide came. Sorry, I'll start from the start. The road that goes into the National Park is 90 miles long, and there's a landslide that happened on a corner at mile 62. So they've been building a bridge to fix that since then. This happened a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, due to the weather and shorter time to build, that's been delayed for another year. So right now, our Tundra Wilderness tours are going to mile marker 42 and turning it around. This is still ample time in the park. It's still a 5.5 to 6 hour excursion tour with multiple times to see views of Mountain Alley, but it's not. It used to go to just past mile marker 69 or something like that, but yeah, it's not going that far anymore due to the completion of that bridge is not completed.
Yeah.
So
you will still see plenty of Denali, trust me, and plenty of wildlife going to mile marker 42. And like George said, it's anywhere from 5 to 6 hour tour. So some would say that's even plenty.
Another question comes in and it asks, how easy is it to bring back gifts bought from Alaska, say to Canada?
Fairly easy. There's a gift shop in every corner in Alaska. So customs and airports are used to people bringing back lots and lots of souvenirs. We actually have flat rate shipping in Alaska. So if you are going to make your bags over 50 pounds, you don't want to pay an extra weight baggage fee, you could actually pay for flat rate shipping. They do 3 different size boxes while you're in Alaska. So that makes it even easier. Things like bringing your souvenir knives and jellies and things like that, you'll need to make sure that they're checked, definitely in your checked bag. Of course, you can't take them through TSA. Only thing that's really hard to get into Canada would be bear spray because you're not allowed to. So anything other than bear spray, you're going to be good. People buy furs all the time. They buy antlers. So you'll be fine getting most everything through customs and onto your cruise ship.
Check into your friend. Just check everything just to be safe.
One viewer wants to know how much the 12-day tour costs.
That would be a sales or travel advisor question. Does anyone want to take that one away?
I can comment on that. I would say it would be best to reach out to your direct travel advisor, because with so many different categories and different departure dates, it can vary. And also there's the option whether you do book that have it all packaged, so it really can vary. And with all those dozens and dozens of dates, even I can't keep it all up here. So speak with your direct travel advisor. One thing I can guarantee is that with all those promotions that you've just seen, you're going to get a much better deal than even if you try to book it with us, Holland America, directly when you book it through direct travel. So yeah, speak with your direct travel advisor, and they'll be able to give you that detailed quote and your options.
Awesome. Well said, Tom. Next question.
Yes.
What is the smallest ship in number of passengers that you offer?
We'll leave that one with Tom.
Okay. So that would be, so our average guest count is around 2,000 guests on average. Yes. So we like to think of ourselves as the Goldilocks cruise line, not too big, not too small. So when you compare that to, those mega ships you hear of out there with 6,000-7,000, we're much smaller. But the smallest ship within the fleet that you will perhaps experience sailing to Alaska on a cruise or cruise tour would in fact be the Zandam, sailing round trip out of Vancouver, and she's approximately around 1,400 guests. But most of our ships sailing to Alaska are either kind of in that range of 1,900, 2,100, or Koningsdam would be the largest, which is around 2,600.
Awesome. Next question is from a person who suffers from seasickness. So the question is this cruise possible for me? I've heard varying reports from people who have done an Alaskan cruise.
I also get seasick. It's horrible because I love the ocean, but we do, like we mentioned, have those perfectly sized smaller ships. So we are spending a lot more time near land than we are in the middle of the water. You, of course, are on a boat, so you're gonna feel some rocking, but you're not gonna feel it like you would on a larger ship. I have been on 2 Alaskan cruises, and with just my normal seasick regimen, whether it's the bands or the seasick tablets, I've always been fine. And because we are mostly in fjords and inlets, you're not having open ocean like if you were doing in a Hawaii cruise or a Caribbean cruise. So you're not going to feel it as much as you would with any other cruise. It's perfect for those first time cruisers for sure.
And I would love to point on this one. I have this question quite often, and my strongest recommendation with seasick people is speaking with your direct travel advisor. Look at the Yukon cruise tours because they've got that shorter cruise which goes through the inside passage. And there's some particular ones, I believe they're the Y5, 4, and 3, land first. You're going to get to go to Glacier Bay, Skagway, and I think Juneau in the inside passage. So you're going to hit a lot of the highlights on the shortest cruise, and then you also get all the great land portions. So speaking with your travel advisor on those cruise tours with the highlights, it's about the 4-day cruise, I believe. They'll be the ones to discuss with your travel advisor of your options.
Yeah, and book a cabin towards the middle of the ship if you can, middle and lower, but you've got this.
Next question, probably best answered by Tom. And it's kind of a twofold question. So we'll just get both of this person's in one fell swoop. What is the best value for a 7-day cruise for a first-time visit to Alaska from Vancouver? Do cruises return to the same embarkation port? And do today's promotions apply to departures from Vancouver?
So good questions. I'll answer those in reverse. The promotions do apply to departures from Vancouver. I'm actually speaking to you today from Vancouver, so I've made sure they apply. But in terms of best value, and they are round trip, the majority of the sailings, and Jamie and George showed you some examples there, the majority are either round trip Seattle or round trip Vancouver. We have 2 round trip Vancouver departures per week, one on a Saturday, one on a Wednesday. And they're the 7-day round trips. There are also some 14-day round trips there in the mix, and of course that incredible 28-day round trip that you saw. But yes, the majority are round trip. If you were thinking of going northbound, southbound one way, that's another option for you. But it sounds like you're looking for round trip. So yes, round trip from Vancouver, and I would say the best value would most likely be a ship I've sailed on many times, the Koningsdam round trip from Vancouver. She sails anytime from early May through end of September, so you can find some great value, especially in the early season.
Awesome. A couple more. What accommodations are there for solo cruisers?
I can jump in again on that one. So we do have, speaking of the Koningsdam, she's one of our Pinnacle class ships. She has a section of the ship on our main deck forward, and those staterooms are solo occupancy ocean view staterooms. So they have a picture-sized window. They're kind of cozy, designed for one solo occupant, and they can be great value if you're looking for an economical way to travel and still have a view. They're the best bet. So you'll find those on the Koningsdam. So speak with your direct travel advisor. They can give you the different pricing options with those and show you the layout as to where they are on the deck plan.
Next question, are the ports tenders?
We mostly do not have tenders. Very rarely in Skagway would it be a tender, but for the most part, we are not tendered ports.
Should we touch on Ketchikan? Our port in one of the benefits of the Holland America is that we actually normally have really good
upfront close
piers,
ports.
Sorry, yeah,
yes.
Ports, piers. So in Ketchikan is one of my favorite because where Holland America always dock is right at the start of where you're going to get to the Creek Street and sort of right in downtown. Because yeah, so some great sort of always close proximity to the downtown centers and great locations.
And the last question so far is, can you connect part of your trip on this trip? For example, connecting with another ship or cruise after the cruise ends so that you don't have to go back to point of origin.
Can you repeat that again? Or did you understand that, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. I would say that is, that's when you start to get kind of creative with your direct travel advisor. They can look at the dates. I mean, if dates kind of line up, there isn't really a reason that you wouldn't be able to do that. Let's say you were taking a one-way northbound Vancouver to Whittier, and you wanted to, then you were on land in Alaska, and then take the sailing back from Whittier. You could do that. It is technically possible. Typically, I would say we have created different cruise and cruise tour lengths and options to kind of give you all those bases kind of covered. We have those 14-day cruises that give you that full all the way up and down more ports, all the way up to Kodiak. So yeah, there are ways to do it. So yes, you can, but definitely speak with your direct travel advisor, because they're the cruise curators, as it were. They can find all the moving parts and show you your options.
And one thing I'll just maybe add on to that is you do have to do the cruise and cruise tour itinerary that is already curated. So you can't mix and match the cruise and land portion. Those would already be a package deal. So make sure that you do choose that one correctly, because they cannot be swapped around.
Awesome. I think that does it for our question and answers. Anyone have, we do have one last questions. Canadian or US funds? I think, Tom, do you want to answer this?
Canadian and US funds, you can, you are able to use your card pretty much everywhere in Canada, with the exception of Diamond Tooth Gertie's as a cash venue whenever you're in the Yukon. At least as far as our cruise tours go, you wouldn't need to really transfer any money around unless you don't have a card that has international transaction fees. Tom, did you have something else you wanted to say on that one?
Yeah, I was just going to say it depends if that's a Canadian traveler asking or a US traveler, whether you're US thinking about when you're in the Yukon, or if you're a Canadian cruiser thinking about your onboard spend. Onboard ship, it is the US currency. Same in Alaskan ports when we're in the Yukon. If you're Canadian, you already have those Canadian dollars. Yeah.
The respondent or the viewer was Canadian. So
okay, so then in that case, and also I'm not sure if that question was also regarding the currency you're booking in. You can book your cruise in Canadian dollars if you're Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
Another question: do you have a cruise that goes to Alaska and Hawaii?
We have that relocation cruise towards the end of the year, right, Tom? So
that's
in September,
correct. Next September, yeah, glaciers and volcanoes. So it takes you all the way up to Dutch Harbor, and then down to spend 5 days in the Hawaiian Islands, and then back to San Diego. So and you have the option to either start in Seattle or Vancouver. So yeah, that is a legendary voyage.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, I think that does it for our question and answer segment here. Again, great presentation. Thank you guys so much. The Millers, Mr. Tom Steer. This was fabulous. So any last words here before we sign off? I'll give you guys the floor. And if not, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing you in Alaska.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.